Hello, this is Willie the Walleye. We're in Baudette, Minnesota. Canada is right over there, and you're watching Light Leaks.
What does a big-ass walleye have to do with Baudette? Why was I there in the dead of winter? Why does the framing in this video keep changing? Why are you asking so many questions? What are you, the feds? I'd hazard a guess that you've never heard of Baudette, Minnesota. I know I certainly hadn't. So let's fix that. If you're like me and you like maps, you may have noticed this little section of Minnesota sticking up into Canada. The reason why it's part of the US and not Canada isn't exactly important, but it's called the Northwest Angle if you have further questions. All that's to say, Baudette is right near there. You may notice it's a little bit out of the way, and you'd be right. Traveling there involves a flight to Bemidji, Minnesota, and then a 100-mile drive north. So that's how I got there. It's 10:30, finally got to the hotel. I get some sleep. Early day tomorrow. Good night. After a really fun morning spent outside in the downright pleasant 0-degree weather, we decided to head into town for some coffee and some Wi-Fi to allow us to pretend to do some more work for the afternoon. I loaded up some Portra 400 into the Mamiya 645. And in the second film back, I loaded up a newcomer, some Ilford Delta 400 Professional, a black and white film that I intended to shoot at box speed with a yellow filter for a little bit of added contrast. Fully caffeinated and off the clock, we utilized our free time to walk around downtown and see what Baudette had to offer. Careful not to cut yourself, because Delta 400 Pro is sharp AF, America Ferrera. I'm quite impressed and pleasantly surprised at the resolving power of this film. Though, I guess that's to be expected from a film that bills itself as professional. Now, I don't know if the sharpness is inherent to the film or just the fact that it's medium format, but nevertheless, it's very nice. Hello. Say hello. Okay. In case you missed the sign, Baudette claims to be the walleye capital of the world, which explains the 35-foot fiberglass walleye. While researching this video, I found out that a couple other cities in the Midwest dispute this title, with at least 2 of them having their own walleye statues. As far as I can tell, Willie here is the biggest, and sometimes bigger is better. So for me, Baudette, Minnesota will always be the one true walleye capital of the world, and anyone who disagrees can fight me. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is my coworker Ayush. He was joining me on this trip.
I love me some lumber.
Daylight was fading all too quickly as it tends to happen in the winter, so we decided to call it quits and grab some dinner. I then had the distinct pleasure of introducing Ayush to the Midwestern staples of fried cheese curds and pull tabs. It's so wonderful to share your culture with someone new. Having literally nothing else to do, I bundled up and headed back out for some night photography.
It's cold out. Let's go shoot some pictures. I like this location a lot, but I just can't find a composition that I like with the fire hall and the ambulance hall, I guess. So, guess I'm gonna move on. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. I very well could be the only person walking around the streets of Baudette, Minnesota right now. It's eerily quiet. There's a little bit of snow falling. It's just very strange out right now. Alright, ready? 10 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. Well, that was cool. I really wish I would have recorded the front of the train, but I just set it up and shot it, so I have no idea if that's going to turn out, but fingers crossed. Man, trains are cool.
Damn, talk about being at the right place at the right time, and also getting insanely lucky. I had intended to compose this shot with the train tracks in the front leading to these red lights illuminating a building in the background, but as I was walking closer to the lights, I saw the train approach. Luckily, the Mamiya was already on the tripod, so I just dropped it where I was, set the shutter speed to 1 second, and hope for the best. This is a USDA certified prime banger. And then, in a fall from grace from the ages, I took this steaming pile. I didn't intend to show this picture, so I didn't even bother to dust it off properly when scanning the negatives, and somehow the dust made it better. We'll just call it grunge and move on.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. I know I said this before, but it's just so calm and still right now. I could literally walk to Canada right now. I'm that close. It's just really peaceful. I like it. There's a little airstrip over there. Maybe that came across in the picture, maybe it didn't. I hope it did. Hopefully it looks cool. I didn't realize it, but it's so cold that there's a little bit of frost forming on the front of the lens.
Like a moth to a flame, I was drawn to the large spinning light at the local airport.
You can just like drive straight up to it, which is kind of crazy. Small towns are weird like that. You know, we're so close to Canada, I bet you I could be an international airport. Where's a piece of snow? I'm gonna go try it. I don't know if you can see that, but the gate to the airstrip is literally just open. I wonder if I could drive on it.
After being released by the local authorities, it was time to call it a night. Tomorrow, we were going international. After the Canadian Border Services scrutinized our passports for an uncomfortable amount of time, we were in. So now we were in Canada. Wait. Hold on. Oh, can't forget my toque. So we were in Canada, eh? Rainy River, Ontario to be exact. It was here where I got to introduce the concept of ice fishing to Ayush. We discussed the idea of walking back across the river to the States, but the pull of universal healthcare, Justin Trudeau, and poutine was just too strong.
Are you enjoying your time in Canada, Ayush?
I love it. It's great.
We drove several kilometers outside of town, but didn't find much. Not even a Tim Hortons. But on the way back, we did see this Busy Beaver gas station that had clearly seen better days. And with that, our brief time in Canada had come to an end. I'm so sorry for this bit.
So we went to Canada today, and I finished the roll of Portra that I have in the Mamiya. I guess I'm going to take it out. And there we go. Spending the day here again tomorrow, and then we're gonna go to Duluth, Minnesota tomorrow afternoon because we have to go to another site early Thursday morning. One roll done. I've got another back with the black and white in it. Maybe I'll finish that. Probably won't put another roll of color in unless I have to.
Seamless transition. Turns out that bit was so cringe that even my lens decided to give up. It no longer wants to focus anymore after that, which is definitely something that I wanted to be dealing with this week. So now I'm shooting the rest of this video on a manual MinneSNOWta lens.
Shout out MinneSNOWta for making a lens that doesn't arbitrarily fail.
Anyway, with our Baudette business banished to the bin of history, Ayush and I bid farewell to Willie and hit the road for Duluth. A 200-mile drive, and I only forced us to stop for pictures twice. Oh, and the rest of the black and white shots were taken without the yellow filter because I forgot to put it back on. Cliche-centered road shot is cliche, but I love it. Once again, the detail of this film is ridiculous. I left the border on this one because I like how the film identifier is in just the right spot. I know we just met, but I think I love you, Delta 400 Pro.
I love you.
We rolled, or more accurately slid, into Duluth amid a heavy snowstorm, so I threw in some 800T and we carefully made our way to the aerial lift bridge.
I'm now extremely happy I brought some 800T.
Big ups to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Doing 8 seconds at F11. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000. I said 8, but I went to 9.
Usually the first shot of a roll doesn't land, but when it does, holy frijoles, Batman. I love this shot. The subject, the colors, the lighting, the halation, sweet baby Ray's Hawaiian style barbecue sauce, the halation is on point. The only thing I wish I could change was the bench and the trash can. Unfortunately, they were bolted to the ground and I had left my emergency can of spinach in my other pair of pants. I like this one a lot. There's a lot of color going on from all the lights, and the snow on the lens adds some really groovy flair. Also, there's a ghost. We went and checked out one more spot nearby, but by this point the Mamiya was getting pretty wet and I didn't want to test out the weather sealing any more than I already had been. So we decided to pack it in and get some food. After dinner, I explored this intensely creepy indoor pool yard. As far as we could tell, there was no one else staying in this section of the hotel. The creepy vibes must have been really throwing me off while setting up this shot because I have never made so many mistakes while setting up the Mamiya. I flipped the mirror up and then tried to look through the prism to check the composition. But you can't see anything when the mirror is up. That's kind of the whole deal with an SLR. Then I turned on the self-timer and tried to take the shot, but it wouldn't do anything because the shutter wasn't cocked. So for some reason, I turned the self-timer off before winding the camera, and then my goldfish brain immediately forgot the self-timer was off. So my clown ass was holding the camera on my less than sturdy tripod while pressing the shutter button on a 4-second exposure. All things considered, the shot turned out okay, I guess. The sharpness is lacking due to the very clear camera movement, but I think it really works to encapsulate the horrendous vibes of the room. So horrendous that I made the same mistake with the self-timer on the very next frame, this time with much worse results. I have never felt so incapable of using my own equipment than on that night. It was cursed and you can't convince me otherwise. Feeling incredibly incompetent, I set out to find a different section of this seemingly empty hotel. That's what using the self-timer is supposed to look like. And if you ever decide to be mean to me, just remember, this is who you're being mean to. Okay, you know what? I get it. Before passing out for the night, I set up this little number, and I think it turned out quite well. The next morning was an early one and involved a 2.5-hour drive to Minneapolis. Of course, stopping along the way to take some pictures. We had a few hours to kill before our flight home and I still had 2 rolls to finish, so after seeing some sights, we decided to stop off at the Cathedral of Capitalism, the Mall of America. Conveniently located right next to the airport. And that was it for this trip. A few days in Minnesota and a brief incursion into Canadian territory. I shot a total of 3 rolls with a lot of pictures that I like and a few that I even like, if you know what I mean.
Hopefully they like me back. Hey, you're like really cool. Do you maybe wanna, I don't know, like come and live in my portfolio till the end of time?
800T remains unmatched for nightscapes as long as you like the halation, and I do. Portra 400 is still a staple of my rotation. I just know I can trust it when I need to. And when I needed it most, it delivered. Unlike some people. And Delta 400 Pro. Welcome to the sisterhood of the traveling films that I like to shoot on a regular basis. Like I said before, I'm extremely impressed by the sharpness of this film, and that goes hand in hand with the fine grain. And the inherent contrast is pretty much where I want it, even without the yellow filter. HP5 rightfully gets a lot of love from the community for its affordability and flexibility, but I have firmly punched my ticket on the Delta 400 Pro hype train. Choo choo! And it's only marginally more expensive than HP5 anyways, which is a huge win. You know, this channel is quickly turning into an Ilford stan account. There are worse things you could stand. You may have noticed that I only brought the Mamiya on this trip, and that was by design. And honestly, it was really freeing, like putting on boxers after you've been in briefs all day. I found over the years that I tend to want to take multiple cameras or lenses with me whenever I go out to shoot, so I can use the perfect equipment for the moment. But then I end up being paralyzed by the options in front of me, trying to get the perfect shot. Worrying about switching cameras, lenses, and backs really takes you out of the moment, so committing solely to the Mamiya with one lens and mostly one back at a time allowed me to be more present in the moment and take the best shot I could with the equipment that I had. Limitations foster creativity almost every time. Obligatory reminder that the best camera you can use is the one you already have. Getting the chance to take my time and really let the compositions breathe and be in the moment was really satisfying and served as a great reminder as to why I love photography. Well, thanks for sticking around to the end. I'd love to hear your interesting stories about Minnesota or Canada if you have them, or maybe even what your favorite shot was. And with that, I'll hit you with the Midwest goodbye, so strap in, you're gonna be here another hour. Well, I suppose I should get going. You know what it's like trying to beat traffic. Of course I'll drive safe, and I'll definitely be watching for deer. Well, I suppose I could stay for one more drink.